deliberate about what we do. But if you're ready for it, come up into a standing position. Let's begin to spin the shoulders around, twist that body a little bit. Let the spine move, right? So we begin to move our spinal structure. But of course, we feel our arms flying outward, and that begins at that weight of the arm pulling away from the middle actually decompresses the shoulder, especially the more you spin, the more vigorously you spin, and the more you relax the arms. And so there's a multitude of things happening. When the arm flops against the body, it brings us to a sudden stop, which that sudden stop helps to create minor adjustments throughout the structure of the spine. So this is really nice. We could talk about energetically, there's some things going on, but that sort of drifts towards more of an Eastern science than a Western science. And I'll just say there are things happening throughout the body. Now let's take the arms up and then let the arms come down. And again, if you could just let the arms fall or add a little bit of a downward action to the arm coming down. So it even sort of brings you forward toward your toes, and to counterbalance that, you throw your body weight back onto your heels just as the arms come down. You get it just right, and there's a sort of nice little rocking movement, pulls down another decompression of the shoulder, but also a little bit of an action to what's called the shoulder girdle that includes both the shoulder blade and the collarbones. This is a nice way to get us ready for things we're going to be doing with our arms. Now let's take it into the balance centers of the body. Let's bend the knees and rock the weight backward until we lose our balance, and then rock the weight forward until we lose our balance. That's part of the key here, because I could rock forward and I could rock back, and my balance would be almost unaffected. And depending on how well you can balance, you can do a lot of rocking. But when you take it to the point where you're in a tiny struggle, whether you step forward or back, that's what we're seeking. We're wanting that much provocation. I know I have to step backward. I know I got it. All right. Put one foot forward. Try that again. It's taking ourselves to our comfortable limits, meaning that there's my failure point, right? But I'm safe. I didn't hurt anything. I just recognized that was when I lost my balance. And it changes day to day. Other foot goes forward. Sometimes we want to revel in what we can do, and that's nice. But when we're trying to create change, we've got to go a little bit beyond what we can do into where things get difficult. And so that's going to be whether you're up for that kind of challenge today, because it's always a personal decision. How far do I take things? Because maybe today you need things to be very light and comfy. Let the weight go to the inner edge of the foot. Lift the outer edge. Let the weight go to the outer edge of the foot and lift the inner edge. That's the thing. Here we are, we're working our ankles, but if your ankle was unpleasant, maybe you did something, you probably want to stay on the softer side of things. And so our challenges can be that we can take what could be an intense experience and modify it and adapt it to the point where it's just something very mild. Or we can take something very mild and modify and adapt it until it becomes something that is a bit of a struggle. Stand across the ball of the foot evenly, push your heels outwards as your arch uplifts, and then lift those toes and pull back those fingers. And squeeze the toes down and grip the fingers to the top. Now, I always include this in warm-ups because this is really vital to the little joints. And we don't think about fingers and toes all that much until something goes wrong. But when we have a standard behavior that at least we do, maybe infrequently, but we do it, spread fingers and toes, narrow and wide. When we do things persistently, we create subtle changes that ultimately guard against negative things happening and slowly recuperate our body. Let the big toes move towards each other. Try and get that action happening. And some of these things are going to be impossible at first. Big toe down, heels push out, small toes up and down. And then small toes down, heels push out, big toe up and down. But we're here to see what we can do and what we can't do. Big toe down, little toe down, 3 center toes up and down. We're here to be confronted by ourselves. Sometimes we're here to say, wow, I really did that well. But a lot of yoga is about confrontation. Keep that arch of that foot, that activated, I'm standing with that heel pressed out, bounce across the ball of the foot. As the hips go back a bit, lengthen the spine from the tailbone all the way to the top of the head, lift up. And then ease that back the shoulders, ease down the shoulders, and just continue that top of the head lift, chin level. And when you bring the breath in the belly this next time, spread the arms outward and upward. Feel how that makes you feel. And then as you exhale, bring the arms down the midline. But we're going to change that. We're going to bring the arms up. And then we're going to exhale as the arms go out and down. We're going to keep changing patterns. So to the side we go. Breathe in. And breathe out. And then the other way. And we do it all again. Breathing in. Again. Now keep the rhythm of that deep breath, but just let your arms rise. Let the center of you rise. Let the rib cage on one side stretch until you get the arm in it too. Inhale. And exhale. We bring up the center and the side and the arm. And we stretch. We exhale and let it go. Again. Center lift. Side lift. Arm reach. Inhale. Exhale. Bring up center, bring up side, bring up arm, inhale. Exhale, now let's take our hands, interlock those fingers, press the palms out, stretch. We're going to bring the chest and the arms up, and as we lift, we're going to spiral even further up and out. Inhale. Exhale, release your spiral and uplift, and then spiraling up, we're going to inhale, and then we exhale and come out. And then we're going to focus on length. Uplift chest, uplift arms. Keep this elongation so the arch does not jam us. Inhale, arch back. Exhale, release those arms down. Let them swing. Bring up your chest. Squeeze together the shoulder blades. Reach the arms back. Exhale. Take those shoulders forward. Broaden between the shoulder blades. Deep inhale. And we'll reach and squeeze back and we'll exhale. Forward go shoulders, inhale. And once again, reach, we squeeze back, we exhale. And then we release those arms apart. Now we're going to step out our feet about mat distance, shoulder distance wide. And we're going to start this turning action again. So we can start to regard the changes we've already made. The loosening of our body. And then we're going to uplift and turn just shoulders. Now this creates a need for the body to use only the deeper muscles or to isolate too what those deep muscles control, limiting the action. So we really get them engaged and then we uplift and we put it the pelvis. So when the body can use something less deep, something lighter, something easier, it will. It's always going to fudge on the side of less activation. Now push out the feet and knees. We're trying to trap the pelvis right in the center. We're going to pull in the core, lift the chest, lower the shoulders. Now I push my hand on the one side, keeping the pelvis centered. I tilt slowly down. I'm going to lift my rib cage and move my arm up. Stretching upward, we'll take a deep inhale. And then as we exhale, we lift ourselves up and out. And then we press out the feet and knees again. Pull in the core. Chest up, shoulders down. Hand pushes to the other side. We tilt. We keep the pelvis in the center. Lift the rib cage and the arm up into the stretch. Take a deep inhale. As we exhale, we lift ourselves up and out of that. And we're going to go to a wide stance. We're going to do things slightly different fashion. We're going to let the knees bend a little bit and bring the hands down on the knees. So we're going to release a little bit before we go to further stretching. We're going to have us reach across the body, just feeling the way that is, just noticing where we feel the tightness, breathing deeply. And then we're going to go across the other direction, just noticing what we feel and where we feel it. And then I'm going to have us do this. I want us to shift our weight to one side. Now you can keep your hands on the knees. You can put the elbow on the knees. You can bring the hands down to the floor. You can lower the hips or keep them raised. We're trying to stretch the inner thigh. And all of these potential changes change the angle. And then I'm going to go across to the other side. My hands on my knees or my elbow on the knee or the hands down. The other leg's going straight. It's going to stretch the inner thigh. And we can adjust the height of the hips. And we'll do this again, coming across. You can be up high, just to the elbow, to the floor, Find what makes the stretch just right for you. And we'll come over either going higher to the elbow or to the floor. Find that stretch. Now let's come to center with our body and lift the hips, but keep some bend in the knee. We want the head and the arms to hang, because the hanging of that is like a weight at the very top of our spine, we should say, because we bent it forward and now we're decompressing it. We're reversing the gravitational pull. You can sway a little side to side, breathe deep. Let's put one hand down and bring the other shoulder up so we're in a twist. Press out the feet for stability, chest away from hips for spinal length, arm reaching up for further twist. Take a deep breath. And then on the exhale, we switch. The hand comes down, the other shoulder goes up. We press out the feet. The chest goes away from the hips. The arm can stretch up. We'll take a deep inhale. Exhale, and we'll come to center. Now we're going to bend the knees. We're going to bring our hands up, not just to the knee, but we're going to take them all the way up and place the heel of the palm in this crease line of the leg, keeping the shoulder near the ear. And on one side, we're going to push to lengthen the spine. It's going to straighten the elbow somewhat, maybe completely. And we'll take a deep breath with a nice long spine. Exhale, the elbow bends, and we'll do this on the other side. We begin to push. We're trying to get that arm to straighten. It doesn't have to go completely straight. We'll take a deep inhale. Exhale, that elbow bends, and now both sides. We begin to push, we begin to straighten. So we're fully traction in the spine. We'll take a deep breath. And then as we exhale, we bring the hands down to the end of the knee, and we reach across ourselves once more. We can breathe in so much the ribs expand wide. And exhale, center, and then reach across the other way and breathe in, expand those ribs wide. Exhale, we'll come to center. We're going to bend our knees and we're going to come up. And that's good. Now we've prepared. We've done a progressive warm up. We're going to do a further progressive warm up known as the sun salutes. And this is where you'll make those decisions. You'll be working harder or lesser. It all depends on what you're experiencing today that you choose for it to be. So let's begin where we're standing with these feet hip distance, the activated arch. We've got our hips back, the spine lifting from the tailbone up, the shoulders back and down, the chin level. We're going to breathe in, lift those arms up. And as we exhale, we grab elbows, we bend knees, we bring the chest down. We lift the hips up so we can further hang the head and shoulders down. We bend the knees to control the stretch of the back leg. And we'll use a little side to side sway to create variations in that hamstring back of the leg stretch. Breathe in nice and deep. And on this exhale, placing hands, we'll step our right foot back. So we're in lunge with the left knee over the ankle. Lift up the right hip, balance the ball of the foot. Your heel reaches back and your chest and shoulders pull forward. Left foot's going to hold its active arch. We're going to use a lighter pressure on the hands, or if we're wanting the greater intensity, one or both arms go forward. Take a deep breath. And on the exhale, let the hands go flat, step back and plank, and abs are pulled in tight as we lengthen the chest forward and the hips and heels back. Inhale. Exhaling, softly lower down the knees and let the hips go back toward heels. Let the elbows come down. And once you're down, just sway side to side. It's a really nice stretch potential in those shoulders. Just sway side to side, breathing deeply. And then coming onto the elbows, sway the hips side to side. Or if you're wanting more intensity, bring the knees close and pivot the feet side to side so there's more engagement at the side of the waist. Breathing deeply. We're flattening the top of the foot. We're pressing hands evenly. We're coming slowly forward to upward dog. Shoulders travel forward to the wrists. The collarbones lift as we sink down into the hips. Press the hands and the top of the foot evenly. Lift the collarbones up. Inhale. And then exhale. We're moving back to downward dog. So lift hips in. Push the chest toward the thighs. Letting the palms flatten evenly. Thumbs pulling towards the feet. And we're going to balance on the ball of our feet as we lift up the heels. We bend our knees and lift up our hips. We push our chest steadily toward our thighs. Let's move shoulders a bit toward those hips so we're wide and comfortable in the neck. And we're going to paddle the heels down and up to create an additional stretch in the back of the legs. Take a deep breath in. And on this exhale, let's step our right foot forward. So it's to lunge, ankle under knee. Lifting left hip, balancing ball of the foot, heel reaching back, chest and shoulders pulling forward. Right foot holds its arch. It's a light pressure of the hands or one or both arms forward, deep inhale. Exhale, we step forward, feet hip distance. Push down those heels, bend those knees, keep the belly tight, and from the squat, inhale, lifting up, and exhale. Inhale up. Exhale and grab the elbows, bend the knees, chest coming down. Now this time I want the elbows to touch against the shins. Let's pull our shoulders toward the hips, keep that happening. Let's press the elbows into the knees, move the ribs toward the end of the knees, keep that happening. Let's press the feet and the knees outward, make that continue to happen, and let's breathe into the upper back deeply. So a very active forward bend. And a deep inhale, and exhale, place hands. Left foot steps back. Now this lunge is being taken to the side angle, so the left heel goes down, left shoulder lifts, and the right elbow comes up and on the knee. Bring your hips so they stay in the center of the mat. Bring the right knee toward the right edge. And I want to do something a little bit different this time. I want you to lengthen the right side. I want you to press that left foot with its arch. I want you to stretch that left arm forward, deeply breathing. Deep inhale with that, and then take the right arm if you want and stretch it forward too. Deep inhale, and then exhaling, turning the chest toward the floor. We're stepping back in plank. Abs pulled in tight as we lengthen. Chest forward, hips and heels back. Inhale. Exhaling softly, lower down the knees, hips back toward those heels until the elbows can come down. Now, we're going to walk that right hand forward because we're trying to bring the ribs past the knee a bit so the sway off to the right, the bowing up where the rib cage can occur. I want you to breathe into the right side. I want you to expand those ribs as much as you comfortably can. We want to activate the muscle groups so that we can stretch more effectively. And one of the things we're activating and stretching is the lung itself. So take those full deep breaths. And on the next exhale, chest to center, hands even. Now left hand, walk it a little forward, sway off to the left comfortably, and breathe to the left. So we breathe where we tell ourselves to breathe. And if we're breathing like this, we're using the intercostal muscle. You can also expand into the belly a bit to get the diaphragm. So we're taking a full deep breath. This is going to help us with deep breathing. Exhaling, chest to center, hands even. Now let's slowly come forward to upward dog. Shoulders travel forward and wrist. Collarbones lift as we sink our hips. Press the hands and the top of the foot evenly. Lift the collarbones. Inhale. And then exhale, we'll move back to downward dog. So lift hips and push the chest toward the thighs. Those palms evenly flatten, thumb pulling toward the feet. Let's gain balance onto the ball of the foot. Lift our heels. Bend the knees and lift the hips. Keep pushing the chest toward the thighs, and now shoulders move steadily toward hips. That's lat muscles. Hands and elbows, we should press them toward each other, so that's pectorals. Wideness between shoulder blades, that's serratus anterior. And while we're doing that, we can paddle the heels down and up. Take another deep breath, hips lifting. And on this exhale, we step left foot forward to lunge, and then to side angle. Right heel down, right shoulder up, left elbow up, and onto the knee. So hips should be in the center of the mat, left knee moving toward the left edge. We're going to lengthen that left side. We're going to get the right foot, especially in a great arch. We're going to stretch that right arm away from that right ankle. And only if you wanted the intensity, the left arm could reach too. Take a deep inhale. Exhaling, turning the chest toward the floor. We step forward, feet hip distance. Push down those heels, bend those knees, belly tight. Inhale and lift up. And exhale. Place the palms together. Take a deep breath. Exhale, push down. Inhale, lift the chest up, arch back. Exhale, forward bend. Right foot back, knee comes down. Inhale and chest lifts up. We arch back. Exhale to plank. Inhale, knees rest, hips back. Exhale, chest and chin resting forward. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Right foot forward, left knee down. Inhale up, arch back. Exhale, step forward. Inhaling up, arch back. Exhale. Hands press, inhale. Exhale, push down. Inhale, chest up, arch back. Exhale, forward. Left foot back, knee down. Inhale, chest up, arch back. Exhale, plank. Inhale, knees rest, hips back. Exhaling, chest and chin rest forward. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Left foot forward, right knee down. Inhale up, arch back. Exhale, step forward. Inhaling up, arch back. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale forward. Right foot steps back, but not very far. We're going to stay on the ball of the foot. We're going to bend our knees. We're going to control our balance as we lift the chest all the way up. So find the balance first. Tighten the right seat muscle, tucking under the tailbone. Pull in the core and lengthen, chest lifting. Breathing deeply. We're not going to go any deeper than we want, but we're going to bring that right knee downward, keeping the left knee over the ankle. Use your breath. And then come back up. And we're going to do it again. And once again. Now bring the right heel down. Point the feet the same direction and position your pelvis in the center. Weight goes onto the heels. Seat muscles tight. Chest lifting up. Long spine. We're going to come down into a wide squat. You go only the depth you want. Push down the heels as you come up. Use your breathing. And a second time. And once again. Now we're going to turn toward the front of the mat, going into a full lunge position. And we're going to bring the right knee all the way down. Make sure you're not rested on the kneecap. Come forward and tighten your right seat muscle. Slowly bend the right knee. Gentle stretch. And then straighten the right leg. We're going to move backward. We're straightening the left leg gently. So the back of the left leg stretches. We're pulling the left foot toward the body. Do this all just to the comfort level. Now we're going to come forward again. Right seat muscle tight. We bend the right knee. And then we move backward. We straighten the left leg gently. We pull the foot back the amount that's right. And then once again, we're moving forward, bending the right knee. And once again, we're moving backward. We're straightening the left leg, lifting the foot. And then we're going to move the left leg backward. We're going to stretch back into child pose, elbows down. We're going to sway side to side, breathing deeply. And then we're going to come into a tabletop. We have the spine lengthening, chest forward, hips back, shoulders and pelvis level. We shift weight to the left side. We bring the bent right knee up, reaching the knee away, seat muscle action. And we bring that knee down. And again, shifting to the left. We bring up the right knee. We reach the knee away, seat muscle action. And then we bring the knee down. And again, shifting to the left, we bring the right knee up, we reach the right knee back. But this time, we're going to straighten the right leg and put the foot down, and then move the left leg back. We're in a full plank position, chest forward, hips and heels back. And then softly bring the knees down. We're protecting our shoulders. Pull the elbows to the midline and slowly lower the chest to the hovering chaturanga. And then upward dog. And then a hovering chaturanga. And then downward dog. Palms evenly pressed, bend those knees. Pull shoulders toward hips. Press hands and elbows toward each other. Make it wide between the shoulder blades. Shifting weight to the left foot, lift up the right foot. Stretch that right leg all the way up. Deep inhale. Exhaling, right foot comes down. Shifting weight to the right foot, bend the left knee, stretch the left leg all the way up. Inhale. Exhaling, left foot comes down. And now we're stepping right foot forward, full lunge. And from the lunge, side angle. Left heel down, left shoulder up, right elbow on the knee. Now we want the hips in the center of the mat. We're moving the right knee toward the right edge, and we're pulling the left shoulder above the right shoulder. We're going to swing that left arm behind our back as comfortably far as we can. We're reaching that right arm forward, keeping the arches of the feet, chest reaching toward the front of the mat. Deep inhale. And on the exhale, we're straightening the right leg. Now the hand can be lowered. You can bring it up higher. We're going to keep that left shoulder above the right shoulder in this version of our triangle. Thighs going tight, chest reaching toward the front of the mat, but also toward the ceiling. Take a deep inhale. On the exhale, bend the right knee and reach the right arm forward. Pull your chest backward until the chest is perpendicular. Keep that left shoulder behind the right shoulder. Chest up, shoulders down. Right arm reaches forward, left shoulder pulls back. Seat muscles tight, right knee to the right. Deep inhale. Exhaling, right arm points up, and then we pivot the chest, and we bring the left arm up into our warrior one. Seat muscles tight, right knee to the right, core engaged, long spine. Inhale. Exhaling, right hand to the hip, left hand across to the outside of the right knee. Pull the right shoulder behind the left shoulder. We're in a twisting side angle. You can stay high, or you can bring the hand down lower. Take a deep breath. And then exhale into lunge. And we'll step forward. Push heels down, bend knees, inhale up. And exhale. Inhaling up. Exhale forward. Left foot steps back part way. We land on the ball of foot. We bend the knees. We lift the chest all the way up. We're going to have to find our balance. Tighten the left seat muscle. Tuck under the tailbone a little bit, pulling the core and lengthen the spine. And then slowly to the depth that's comfortable. Bring that knee down. We keep the right knee over the ankle. And back up again. Use your breathing. And a second time. And once again. Now we're going to lower the left heel down. We're going to match the feet angles to each other. We're going to position the pelvis right in the center of all of that. Weight back on our heels. We're going to lift the arms up, long spine, and come down into the depth of squat that's comfortable. Push on those heels as you come up. Use your breathing. And a second time. And a third time. Now we're turning toward the front of the mat, going into a full lunge. I'm going to bring the left knee down, coming forward so we're not on the kneecap. We'll come forward enough that the front of the left hip is stretching, seat muscle tight on the left. We're going to slowly bend the left knee. And then pushing backward as we straighten the left leg, we will straighten the right leg a comfortable amount. We'll lift the front of the right foot up for an additional stretch. Keep it all within your comfort. And we're going to go forward again. We're using our breathing to time things. We come forward, left seat muscle tight, bending the left knee. And then moving backward, straightening the right leg, pulling back the foot. And once again, that duo, we come forward, seat muscle tight, bending the left knee. And we move backward, lifting the front of the right foot. Now we're going to move our right leg back. We're going to sink into child pose or downward puppy, and we're just going to sway from side to side, just creating release in the shoulders, getting the legs in the back a chance to settle, breathing deep. And now we're going to come into a tabletop. Wide between the shoulders, chest forward, hips back. We're shifting weight to the right knee. We're bringing the left knee up and reaching the left leg, left knee backward, seat muscle action. And we let that knee come down. We're still using our breath to time things. And again, shifting over to the right, the left knee comes up. We reach back the left knee. And then we bring that down. And again, shifting to the right, left knee comes up, reaching back to knee. But this time we're going to straighten the left leg. We're going to bring the right leg back. So we're full plank, chest forward, hips and heels back. Let both knees come down, protect your shoulders. Pull the elbows in, lowering to the Chaturanga, hovering. And then upward dog. And then hover Chaturanga. And downward dog. Palms evenly pressed. Bend those knees. Shoulders move toward hips. Hands and elbows press toward each other. We make it wide between the shoulder blades. We're shifting weight to the right foot, bending the left knee, lifting the left leg all the way up. Deep inhale. Exhaling, left foot coming down. Shifting weight left, bend the right knee, stretch the right leg all the way up. Deep inhale. Exhaling, right foot comes down. And now we're stepping left foot forward, full lunge. And then side angle, right heel down, right shoulder up, left elbow up on the knee. Hips center to the mat, left knee toward left edge. We're lengthening the left side. We're bringing right shoulder above the left shoulder, putting the right arm back behind us comfortably. And then we're going to reach that left arm forward, deep inhale. And on the exhale, we're straightening the left leg. The hand can go lower or higher on the leg. Right shoulder above left shoulder in this triangle pose. Thighs tight, chest reaching toward the front of the mat, but also toward the ceiling. Deep inhale. Exhale, we're going to bend the left knee over the ankle and reach the left arm forward. We're going to pull the chest back perpendicular to the floor. We keep the right shoulder behind the left shoulder. Chest up, shoulders down. Left arm reaches forward, right shoulder pulls back. Pull in the core, tighten the seat muscles. Left knee stays to the left. Deep inhale. Exhaling, left arm reaches upward, and we bring the right arm around. Both arms stretching out, turning forward to warrior one. Seat muscles tight, left knee to the left, core engaged. Deep inhale. Exhaling, left hand to the hip, right hand across to the outside of the knee. Bring the left shoulder behind the right shoulder for the twisting side angle. Hand can stay higher. We can bring it down lower. Take a deep breath. And then exhale into the lunge. And step forward. Press down, heels, bend knees. Inhale, lift up. And exhale. There we go. Let's make our spine longer. We're warm enough for that to occur. Take your feet nice and wide. Bend the knees a little. Lift the chest up to the crease line of the leg and pelvis. Put the heel of the palm there, tilting forward. Those shoulders are up near our ears. On one side, on the right side, push, straighten the arms. See how elongated you can make that right side. Take a deep breath. Exhale, let the elbow bend. Now the left side does it. We begin to straighten that arm. We lengthen the spine. We take a deep inhale. Exhale, the elbow bends, and now both sides. We're pushing, we're straightening the arms. We're tractioning the spine, nice long spine. Inhale. And then exhale, we bend the elbows, we bend our knees, we come out of there. All right, we're nicely warmed. I want us to continue on. I want us to focus on some release to the back of the leg, some balance work. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to remain standing for the moment as we stand. Feet hip distance. We are going to step our right leg back. Don't put yourself on a tight rope. Make sure you got some room to the left, room to the right for the feet. Right foot's pointed out about 45 degrees. We're going to tighten our thighs. So we do it the traditional Parsvottanasana way. One leg forward, forward bend. We're pulling in the core as we lengthen, thighs tight. Now, maintaining the curvature of the back is our goal. So we want the low back curve toward the front of the body. And as we tighten the thighs and bend forward, the left leg's going to complain about things. We try and keep the left leg tight. We try and keep the spine long. And we don't want to give up any ground on either thing, so we're going to end up having to stop. Now, don't let the right side pull back. It's supposed to face frontward. Your body's going to look for any way to give you what you want by cheating. So just keep the thighs tight, the spine long, and just limit. Just don't go any lower, because we're going to go lower by bending the left knee now. We're going to slide our hands down the leg, tilting forward until the hands can come all the way to the ground. And then we're just ever so slightly, lightly going to straighten that left leg until we feel the stretch. We'll take a deep inhale. Exhale, we'll rebend the left leg until we're unaware of stretch. And we'll do it again. I'm not doing this extremely. I'm just straightening the left leg to the point where I'm like, oh yeah, I feel the stretch. We'll take a deep inhale. Exhale, we let the knee bend. There's probably not much difference between the straight and the bend. And we'll do it again, meaning that we're not going to straighten it very much. We'll take a deep inhale. Now exhale as you let it bend. Let's get that beautiful arch of the left foot. Let's take our hands more forward and wider. Let's put more weight on the left foot. Let's see if we can put enough weight that we can actually lift the right foot away from the floor. You can just keep the toes touching, which is a variable. You can lift the leg only part way up. And you can try to lift the right leg above the left leg. And you can keep that left knee as bent as you want. Everyone's a little different about how high they lift that right leg up. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, and we return the right foot back down again. And we're going to bend our knees, and we're going to lift ourselves up from there. Okay. So balance, hamstring stretch. There's a lot going on. Let's do the second side. So now we'll step our left foot back. Pelvis facing frontward. So it's first just a very traditional pose. The thighs are tight. The spine is long, the pelvis faces frontward as we start to tilt forward, but we're going to be limited. The hamstring length is always going to be something that's going to slow us down, because if we forget about it, we're going to be rounding our back, and we don't want to. We're just keeping that lovely low back curve. We're trying to keep our thighs tight, although they don't want to do it. We're keeping the left side of the pelvis tilted forward. So we're just dealing with whatever it is in that right leg. But then we're going to bend the right knee and bring our hands down until the hands can touch the floor. The right knee's bent, there's no stretch, but we're going to gradually, slightly straighten whatever amount we need to stretch. We take a deep inhale, and exhale, we bend the knee. I'm always concerned about the arch of the foot. I don't want to be off the foot arch. We'll do it again. We're straightening the right knee, just whatever fraction it needs to get the stretch. We take a deep breath. Exhale, we let the right knee bend. And then once more, we straighten the right leg to just that mild, comfortable stretch. Deep inhale. Now, as we exhale, we bend the right knee, but we're really focused on the arch of the right foot. We put our hands further forward and wider out there, and we see how much weight we can transfer to the right side. Now, it's going to be different on this side. See if you can lift the left foot any way away from the floor. Maybe slightly. Maybe you're trying to lift the left leg above the right leg. We got to keep everything comfortable. You can bend that right knee whatever amount you need. Let's take a deep inhale. And then on the exhale, we're going to put that left foot all the way back down. We're going to come backward. We're going to bend our knees. We're going to bring ourselves up from that. It's quite a challenge. The most common thing that people tell me to say is it's very different on one side versus the other, which it is. And we need yoga to let us know of our differences. Not necessarily this pose can correct them, but if we know there's a difference on left and right, we'll work more to create that unity, that balance of body. Now we're going to sit down and we're going to do a nice little twist. Actually, first we're going to sit down and I'm going to warm up something. I don't want to do the twist yet. I'm speaking too soon. If you prefer to sit with your hips up on a block or a bolster, we briefly do that because I'm going to warm up the shoulders before we do something more. I want us to focus on something. We had focused a little bit on it yesterday if you were in yesterday's class. But a lot of you were not. So I'm going to get us working with the shoulder area. So we start by rolling the shoulder. Make sure you're uplifted through your spine as you sit in whatever way you want to sit. But we're rolling the shoulders, making the shoulder area awake and aware, and we're going to roll them the other way. And we are aware there's a difference between the left and the right. There's places in the shoulder that are tighter, and that can extend all the way up into our neck. Now, one of the areas that provides a stability, I want you to think about the shoulder blade as the platform of the shoulder. And if we could have it adhered very close to the rib cage, it would be very stable. And that would allow us to have better shoulder function. So we're going to stabilize by using the muscle under the shoulder blade known as serratus. And I'm going to have one arm forward, and it's about the height of my shoulder. And I'm going to reach that arm so the shoulder blade moves away. And I will show you the side view of this. So as I'm sitting right here, my arm is there. I reach my arm forward. I don't let my chest go forward. I'm just pulling the shoulder blade, and then we release. We do it a couple of times at this angle. And you might not feel it as the contraction ending up in the underarm region right here where it attaches to the ribs. We're going to lower the arm. And we're going to make that reach, the shoulder blade reaching. That's a different angle. The muscle gets called serratus because it's like a serrated knife. It's got all these different edges. We're going to reach in. And it works through over 180 degrees of angle. So I'm going to come up higher above my shoulder line now. And I'm going to make my reach. And so this is just 3 of the 180 degrees that we could be putting it in. But we don't, we don't have all the time in the world. All right, so I've done one side. Now I'm going to warm up the other side. And the warm up is important because if you're feeling, ow, that's dreadful, then don't do it. Arm at the height of the shoulder, and we reach forward. So the muscle's under the shoulder blade, and it attaches to the upper ribs. And it counterbalances another muscle that's between the shoulder blades known as the rhomboids, which we'll get to in a moment. I'm going to take the lower angle now, and I'm going to reach. A lot of people say, I feel it at the top of the shoulder, and you will, because this muscle affects the angle and the alignment of the shoulder. So it's very important that we get all these things in the right position so that we wear and bind the least possible in the shoulder. Up higher than the shoulder now, my reach. Pay attention. If anything in this warm-up was unpleasant, that's a warning to you. Don't provoke. But the next thing I'm going to show you is going to allow us to create some activation. We're going to be in a tabletop. So we're going to come out of our seated position. Now in this tabletop, I'm going to have our arms in 3 basic postures. I'll show them to you right now so that when we get into it, it makes more sense. In one of the positions, my hands are going to be under the shoulders. In another one of the positions, my hands are going to be forward in my chest. And still another one of the positions, one hand will be forward and one hand will be behind the line of the shoulder. And all of this is very modifiable. But let's get into that position and let's work with this group. So the hands are now in line with my shoulder, but I'm long in the spine, chest forward and hips back. And I've got to make sure that after my shoulder blades, no other part of my spine really responds to this. I begin by pushing my hands firmly. I'm trying to put a dent in the floor. And I want to pull my spine upward as if someone grabbed me between the shoulder blades and is lifting that part of the spine up. The rest of my spine is not moving. Once I've lifted, I'm pushing still with my hands, and that's the contraction serratus. But then I'm going to sink that area down and squeeze the shoulder blades together. Still trying to use only this part between my shoulder blades. And again, I'm going to push into the floor, pushing firmly. I'm going to pull my spine upward. And even as I lift the spine, I'm going to push my hands into the floor. There's our strong serratus. And then once again, we sink down, we squeeze our shoulder blades. And we're going to do it once more. Push the hands into the floor, make the shoulder blades wide, lift the spine between the shoulder blades. And then one more time, squeeze so those shoulder blades are coming down. Now we're going to have a little break in between each thing. We're just going to pull backward and just take the weight off the wrist and let the head bend down into whatever version of child's pose or downward puppy that you want to be in. You just take a moment there because we're seeing what this is doing to us. We're checking out our body. And now I'm going to come forward. I'm going to place my hands a hand distance forward of where they were before. We're still pulling the chest forward, the hips back. We're still isolating to the shoulder blade line. I push the hands into the floor. I pull my chest backward and upward between the shoulder blades, pushing the hands down into the floor. Deep breath. And then exhaling, I'm going to squeeze my shoulder blades together. And again, pushing hands into the floor. I pull my chest backward and the spine lifts upward. Deep breath. And then we sink between the shoulder blades together. Now, when I say backward, we're not pulling the hips behind the knees. I'm just pressing the hands into the floor. I'm pulling slightly back and upward. Deep breath. Exhale, we sink between the shoulder blades. And then we pull the hips back, bring the elbows down, bring the head down into our resting position. Just breathe deep. If the wrists are getting tight, you can just roll the wrists a little bit. That will take pressure off of them. And again, it's a chance to check out, what do you feel? Where do you feel it? How is your body? Good. Then we're going to come again into the tabletop. And so from the tabletop position with my hands under my shoulders, I'm going to put my right hand a hand distance forward. I'm going to put my left hand about a hand distance backward. These are slight modifiable positions, so if you need to be forward or backward less, you can do that. Now here, I'm pushing the hands into the floor. My spine is long, chest forward, hips back. I lift up between the shoulder blades like someone grabbed that part of my spine, lifting up. I'm pushing the hands into the floor. Deep inhale. And then as we exhale, we sink down, we squeeze those shoulder blades together. And we're going to do it again. We're going to press and lift between the shoulder blades upward. Push those hands down. Inhale. Exhale, we sink down. Palms pressing, we lift the spine up. And even as we lift the spine, we still push the hands. Deep inhale. Exhale. Sink down. And then pull yourself back. Let the arms stay in this position if you like. We're just in a momentary release. We just want the pressure off those wrists for the moment. And we're coming back into our tabletop. The left hand goes a hand distance forward. The right hand is about a hand distance back. We're pressing those palms. We're going to lift the space between the shoulder blades up. We're going to push those hands down. We take a deep inhale. Exhale, we sink the shoulder blades together. And then pushing those palms, we start to lift the space between the shoulder blades up. We push the hands down. As we lift that area up, we take a deep breath. Exhale, we sink the shoulder blades down. And once again, we're pushing, we're lifting the space of the shoulder blades wide apart, spine lifting, palms pressing, deep inhale. Exhale, we sink down and we pull back into another child pose, breathing deeply. We roll those wrists, take pressure off those wrists. And that's good. A little bit more. We're going to return to a seated position, but this time the legs are going to be forward. The left leg is going to be straight and the right knee is going to be bent. We just lengthen. And we're going to take the right foot across to the outside of the left leg if you can. Now we're going to lengthen and bring both arms toward our left side of our body and walk the hands comfortably away, rolling on the left hip a little bit, but keeping the right knee pointed up. Now the hands can be further away and further wide to a comfort level. And we're going to feel this as we twist toward the left. Now you can bend your elbows, bringing the chest downward, which will create a change in the angle of your stretch. Or you can keep them straightened. It's sort of nice to bend down and come up. So the right knee stays pointed up. The left leg is going to turn a little bit toward the left as we do this particular twist, breathing deeply. Now the second part of this twist would be to take weight onto the right hand and to put the left elbow down. And to see as we try and lower the right elbow. Now maybe we're just lowering it, or maybe we get it all the way down. It's a different stretch. So you don't have to go all the way down. You're just creating this sort of twist toward the left, and it's should be managed and modified. The right knee is still pointing upward. So we're not doing anything to really provoke the body. We're just creating a reasonable amount of stretch. We're just going to use the right hand to help us lift that left elbow back up again. And we're going to do this on the second side. So a little bit of twisting action there. Okay. So now it's going to be the right leg that straightens out and the left knee that goes into the bend. And before we even come across our body, we're going to lengthen our spine. We're going to put the left foot across that right knee if we can. And we're just lengthening. We're going to take both hands toward the right side of our body. And we're going to walk them away from us a little bit, rolling onto the right hip, but keeping the left knee pointed upward. Now the hands can be certain distances away. We'll just modify to our own needs. We're twisting toward the right, and you can bring the chest down a little bit, lift the chest up a little bit, and just discover what this means for your body. How does it feel? What do you feel? Where do you feel it? Just breathing, noticing your body. And then we're going to put weight on the left hand so that we can lower the right elbow down. And then we're going to work to try and maybe lower that left elbow, but maybe not very low. The left knee still points upward. We're just easing our way in and out of this, just feeling where this sets up the twist, the stretch in our body, and keeping that very reasonable. And this is good. But then we're going to put weight on our left hand so we can bring the right elbow up. We walk ourselves out of that position. That's great. Now let's come onto our back. Recline on our back. Let's bring our knees in toward our chest. So the back will be encouraged to completely flatten. We'll place our hands in the very back of the knee, hugging the legs in toward the chest. And then one leg at a time, we'll start the straightening of the knee. Remember, the ideal is not to let the leg move away from the chest. It is straight knee, not completely straight. So we're just being very reasonable. Maybe the leg can't straighten much because it's that pulled close to the chest. Now, I can modify this with reaching on my heel. It will put the stretch in the calf, and that might be very valuable for those who have some calf or ankle or knee problems. To stretch the calf is a good idea. So going back and forth with this, a very nice way to release tension from the spine, a very nice way to release tension from the back of the leg region. We're doing this as sort of a one leg at a time, but you know, both legs could straighten up there, and that's kind of nice too. I'm going to put the left foot down, bending the right knee comfortably, because I'm going to slide my hands up toward the ankle on the right side, grabbing hold. I'm going to start to sway the leg to the left and then across to the right. So going back and forth. Now I can straighten the leg more or less, but my arms are acting like cables. The left foot being down helps me keep the left side of the pelvis down, but my shoulders are going to spin a little bit. My right side of my pelvis is going to reach a little bit depending on how far to the left or the right I go. And so I can bend the knee almost completely, and it changes where I feel the stretch. Or I can straighten the leg, and it changes where I feel the stretch. But I'm just, you know, I'm on my own journey. And that's good. We're going to come to center. We're going to put the right foot down. We're going to bring the left knee in. We're going to slide our hands up toward the ankle line. And keeping the arms acting like cables, we're going to take the leg off to the left and off to the right. And the distance we go to either side, the bend of the knee, the straightness of the knee, these are all for us to figure out what is it that would be best for us. Comfortably stretching. Coming to center, we're going to bring the right knee into the chest again. And I want you to reach, and I want you to do your best to grab the inside portion of the leg. Maybe it's near the ankle. Traditionally, we grab the heels and pull the heels in toward the body, and then we rock from side to side. The feet can be further away from each other or closer together. It gets called the happy baby. We're rocking side to side. It's actually a really nice stretch for the back of the pelvis and for the legs. Straighten one leg and then the other leg. It's a whimsical pose. And then we're going to come to center, and both feet are going to come down. Take your arms and bring them alongside your head if you can. It might be that you're out wide or very narrow. And start to rock the knees toward the right side. If the feet are wide, the left side of the pelvis will lift up and the legs will fold inward. And we'll bring our knees up and we'll tilt toward the left and the legs will fold. Now you can do the wide leg twist, or you can bring the knees narrower, which will create more rotation of the spine. With the arms in this position alongside the head, the stretch is going to go all the way up into the side of the chest. It's going to lengthen part of the fabric of our body. And these are the places in the spaces within us that get tight when we do things like sitting or we're inactive. And we're definitely in a world right now where we might have a lot more enforced inactivity than we've ever had in life. Let's bring our arms away from the head. Let's stretch the legs outward. And let's do some finishing touches. We'll start with an inward and outward rotation of the legs, just to rock the hips and to see how the left and the right side of our pelvis feels. We'll shimmy the pelvis one side reaching and then the other, because that also helps to align things. We'll tense seat muscles and let them go during all of this. Inhale, arch the back, exhale, flatten it, because that's all just trying to get the pelvis in the best position for us. And once we're satisfied with that, we will maneuver the shoulders. We'll move away from the head toward the hips, but we'll widen the space between the shoulder blades. We'll turn the arms so inside of the palms and elbows face ceiling, and we'll adjust the head to be right in the middle of it all. And acting as sort of a finishing touch, I want us to make a soft fist in both hands. I want us to grip our toes toward the bottom of the feet. We're going to contract into the lower and upper legs, into the forearms and upper arms. We're going to tense the body anywhere we can. For the next inhale, hold your contraction. And then exhale, let everything go. And just let go. And we're trying to do nothing. And this is a very unlikely thing for us. We're always doing stuff, it seems. Now your mind is going to continue to think, and you're going to continue to breathe, and you're going to hear sound and you feel sensations, but just let yourself be in that open frame where you're noticing what you're hearing. You're feeling your head, your feet, shoulders and hips and arms and legs and chest. You're feeling the pattern of pressure your body makes on the floor. You're feeling the clothes on your body and the air on your skin. You're feeling the breath enter you, coolly through the nose to the throat, to the collarbones, to the lungs. You're feeling the pressure leave when you exhale. You're hearing my voice, the sounds around you, the sounds outside your home. Everything. Even those thoughts that flitter through your brain, there's in the moment. It's like we're observing the snow globe. It's been shaken. We're noticing the swirl of the flakes. We're noticing ourselves and our life and where we are right here and our right now. Because that's the reset button. That's what brings us to ourself. Come back to that center point. This coming here is very important. Breathe deeply, move the amount you want, begin your stretch as you would like, or just continue your relaxation if that is what's best for you today.